You're still watching News Center right here on KTN News. Moving on, Meru County Governor Kiraitu Murungi was the one who signed the deed for parties that dissolved to form the now shaky Jubilee Party. 5 years later, he's advocating for the resurrection of the very parties due to bitter lessons learned. In an interview with KTN News, he also sheds light on the relationship status between Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West, the political significance of the Mount Kenya Foundation, and the depth of the deep state.
I'm the one who did the agreement for the 13 parties which collapsed to form the Jubilee Party. That agreement was to run for 5 years, from 16th of September 2016. So the 5 years have already expired. The 5 years expired in September. What that agreement had said was that the names and the symbols of the 13 parties which collapsed to form Jubilee will not be available until after 5 years, until after the 2017 elections, and passed. So since the 5 years have elapsed, all those names, all those symbols, which had been dissolved, during the Jubilee party merger, are now available. So what those ones who are forming the new party for region have done is to go for the symbol, which could not be available before September, but is available now. So the bus party, the bus symbol is available. And as we've been saying, those who are forming it are now in the process of servicing the bus. They are buying new tires, alafu it will put petrol, and it will very soon be on the road. Yes. So even TNA could be available, when URP could be available. So all those parties which we collapsed are now available for registration. But the party is not available in the original form. It has to be registered afresh. So what the new members of the BAS have done is to pick another party, RBK. So they changed its name to Devolution Empowerment Party, DEP. The focus being, to strengthen devolution, to fight for more resources, to come to the counties, to empower the people at the grassroots. So that's the main philosophy of the new party. And then the symbol BAS, because it's popular in the region, that's why they decided to pick it. I know I have worked with all the presidential candidates. All those people are seeking presidency in 2022. They were either my cabinet colleagues or I work with them in one party or another. Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka was my classmate at the law school, at the university, and also at the law school. We've been Musalia in parliament for about 20 years. He was Minister for Local Government when I was Minister for Energy. Same with William Ruto. William Ruto was our colleague, Minister for Agriculture, Minister for Higher Education when I was Minister for Energy, Minister for Justice also. Raila Odinga was Minister for Roads and later became the Prime Minister, and we worked well with them. Now, they all want to be president, and I must confess to you that our problem of choosing between friends. Yeah. So if I was looking at personalities, then it will be very, very difficult. Choosing on the basis of people I know very well. Now that's why I'm saying let's go beyond personalities. Let us look at what these candidates stand for. I know right now there's a contest. Everybody is talking the economic language of the poor. How we are going to empower Mama Mboga, how we are going to empower the Bonda riders, how we are going to provide some stipend for the unemployed, and all that. And I've seen that as listened to all of them. And these days, Kenyans, even those unemployed Kenyans, many of them are university graduates. There are people who understand issues. So let's listen to all of them, and then we retreat and analyze and see who can come in first, bring the country together, because unity and peace is a precondition for anything else you're talking. And two, you can have a radical transformation agenda, for this country. So I think these are the things that we should be looking at. And as a candidate, you can make any promise, because promises are cheap. They don't cost you anything. I can say, as the president, I'm bringing the moon down to Kenya. Does not cost me anything, isn't it? I can say I can go Mount Kenya, so that we can see each other well with the people in Nyeri. Again, doesn't cost me. So mere promises can be made by anybody. So we should go beyond the promises people are making. Then you look at their past, look at their track record. Do you have capacity to do those things that you're saying you're going to do? You also have to have resources to mount a credible campaign across the country, and that's where the rich people become important. You need their support for you to win the elections in this country. So we might dismiss those Mount Kenya Foundation people as business people who are interested in supporting and first protecting their wealth and guaranteeing that protection in the incoming regime. So you try to capture the presidential candidates, at this stage. But that's a reality. If they back you up, you are more likely to get the resources to win that campaign. You are more likely to get support to reach the people, to reach the masses. When you see the crowds that you see being mobilized by either of the presidential candidates, those crowds cost money, isn't it? Even media is expensive. For you to be on television every day, it costs. So you cannot dismiss or separate, the Mount Kenya Foundation and the campaign. So for you to get the backup of the Mount Kenya Foundation means that you are going to have around a voice, you are going to have around a campaign, etc. So I mean, I don't dismiss them the way they are being dismissed. And two, we are saying we are going to create employment. How are we going to create employment? The Royal Media employs a lot of people, isn't it? They are employers. You know, others are people who manufacture cement. You have a lot of workers working for cement. Others are contractors. So you create employment by supporting industrialists, by supporting big businesses, because you create opportunities, you know, that way. So for me, I don't dismiss them, but I think the agenda is how do you create wealth and also empower those without. And I think that is the thin line, the balance we have, you know, we have to talk. The Deputy President is our friend. He talks about empowering Mama Mboga, empowering Mkopoten and other people. That's fine. You know, but how when you carry these people in the wheelbarrow, when you carry your stuff in the wheelbarrow, well, you won't be taking it. You'll be taking it to a construction site, isn't it? Who owns that building? You know, where you are taking it. Is it not Mama Mboga? The one who owns the building will be somebody else's money. And maybe after you finish that building, you'll be building another one. Yeah, so I think for the country to progress, you have to look both at the top and the bottom as well. Usually, where is a presidential candidate, the voter turnout is higher. I don't expect both the registration and even the voter turnout during the elections in Mount Kenya region to be as high as it was during the Kibaki and the Uru's time. This time, although we will be registering almost 80 million voters within the region, I think the voter turnout will be much lower. So not everybody will be coming out the way we were coming out that time. I would expect high voter turnout both in Rift Valley, where William Ruto, you know, will be the candidate, and also in Ruo Nyanza. So many people believe there's going to be another voter registration sometimes next year. So, because that is what has always happened in the past. They come and they don't talk about the second voter registration, but it always happens. So those who don't register now, they are hoping there will be another one where they are going to, you know, because I was talking to people around my area at Nkopu, and they were saying, Mheshimiwa, tutakuwa na ingine. Then I told them I'm not sure whether there will be another one. Then they said, but it always happens. Our relations between Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West is a domestic relationship. We have our own internal issues. But I think those cannot be carried too far into the future, because I think the biggest challenge right now is that of distribution of resources between Mount Kenya West and Mount Kenya East. We feel we belong to the same house, you know, but certain corners of the house have been treated better than the others. The most emotive issue has been those Mau roads. See, Mau roads are being done in Mount Kenya West, are not in Mount Kenya East. And our people feel, since there are also Maus in Mount Kenya East, and they also fought for independence, and they died like the others, there should also be Mombasa roads on Mount Kenya East. So I think it is ranches, that's an example. So our issues between Mount Kenya West and Mount Kenya East are pure issues of equality or equity in distribution of resources between us and the Mount Kenya West. Now, that is only relevant because there is power now within the Mount Kenya region. If the power migrates to another region, what shall we be quarreling with the Mount Kenya West about? Because that time we shall be seeking our resources from that external source. So what we are trying to do is stand the power. What we are trying to do is to study who is likely to be the next president of this country, use our party, to negotiate with that particular president, and in the distribution of both political power and resources, we seek some guarantees that we shall not be ignored, we shall be treated. We are not asking for favors. All we are saying is we should not be discriminated against. Well, I think the deep state is not something formal. Something you can define and describe. I think we have to leave it where it is. There's actually informal networks, and they happen in any government. So even the regime which will come, it will have those informal networks. There are people without any titles in government. In fact, you can be even head of public service, or you can have big titles as ministers, but power is exercised by other people elsewhere. I can give you, like, during the Moi regime, see, people like Murungi were very powerful. Even although he was illiterate, even professors were going to see him so that they can get appointments, in the regime. To me, that would be a classical case of a member of the deep state. Yeah, so it's you cannot define it precisely, but for sure, those networks, are there, and they are there in society, even in the church. If you want things to happen, you go and see, so and so. You might not be a bishop, it could be a farmer, but he influences things in the church. Are we together? Yeah, I think that is what's in politics, and they call the deep states.
Now, in many Western countries, death due to suicide is no longer a crime. The respective laws were changed in an effort to manage and prevent suicide cases. But in Africa, and in Kenya in particular, death due to suicide is still a criminal offense punishable by law. Mental health advocates have been on the